Well, Sean, I think we are about a month away from the opening night or opening Sunday in the NFL. Is that about right?
Yeah, we should be 4 weeks from Sunday.
Yeah, 4 weeks from Sunday. So a little bit more than a month from the first week in the NFL. It is the first week of the NFL preseason where, last week we had the Cowboys and the Steelers. This week we have Washington and New England on Thursday night, along with Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. So you got the battle of Pennsylvania, your state, and then Washington, New England. So let's take a start with Washington and New England, Sean. The Patriots opened up as a 1-point favorite and remain a 1-point favorite.
Yeah, I like Washington here and actually going to make it an official play with Fitzpatrick. He should be fired up. You got Heineke. He played well last year. He'll get some snaps. Newton, you're not going to see much of, and then you're going to see the rookie for New England who, Washington, we'll see how much Washington plays their defense, but their defense should be solid, even backups. So I'll take Washington.
I can't do football in the preseason. I think that New England is going to have some surprisingly young talent on the defensive side of the ball, which should make for a little bit of fun for that Washington quarterback crew that you're talking about there. I just feel like New England is. I don't know. I just can't bet preseason football.
Okay, with a record of 48-66, basically in baseball, I'm going to try it.
Yeah, well, you might as well, right?
Yeah.
And then obviously, you know how I feel about preseason football, but we cannot not address it. The Pittsburgh Steelers against the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, here I feel like Pittsburgh is down to, I think, one quarterback because I don't think Haskins is playing. I don't think that Big Ben – I know Big Ben's not going to play. He's already listed as out. Although Najee Harris, the running back, is probably going to get a ton of carries tonight. So I wouldn't be surprised if he has a big game. But I feel like the Eagles have a lot more to do. They're going to have more experienced quarterbacks in there. You're going to have Flacco. You're going to have Jalen Hurts. And then I feel like you're going to see a little bit better quarterback play. And the Eagles, I think, have more to work out than the Steelers do. So I expect you'll see better players from the Eagles on the field longer than you'll see them on for the Steelers.
Yeah, in this game, I like the under. This is one I feel like it's kind of like the Cowboys-Pittsburgh where I said the under, and it was under pretty good. This should be as well.
So are you going to make that official too? Or
yeah, I'll make that official.
You're going to go crazy in the NFL. Huh?
Well, you know what? There ain't much baseball today, and I didn't really like much, so I'll make my 2 plays in the NFL. I might have 1 play in baseball. So
in the NFL, 36 is the line for the Steelers game. They opened up at 36, pretty much stayed at 36, hasn't moved, and you're going to get minus 110 on that. And then on the point spreads, are you going to take? You're taking
Washington money line. I had plus 100.
Plus 100 on the money line.
Yeah,
I mean you might as well if it's going to be just 1 point, right? I mean the winner of the game is likely going to be the team that covers. So the money line on Washington getting a point or just straight up winning is plus 105. You can get.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm avoiding both of those games. I'm not a big fan of preseason NFL football. You just don't know what teams are going to be working on. And as a result, it's kind of tough to tell what you're going to see out there. Though, like I said, I do expect that New England's going to have some pretty young stars on the defensive side of the ball. And I think Philadelphia has more to work on. New coach, new system, new everything. So I would think you'll see Philadelphia having more of their regulars, maybe second and third teamers that are going to make the team out there than you'll see with Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh's pretty set with what they're going to do. They know who the quarterback is. They know who their wide receivers are. The only thing is their offensive line. So maybe their offensive line will get a little bit of extra action, which could benefit them specifically in the second half. All right.
I will say too, all the head coaches besides the Eagles, obviously he's making his debut tonight. All 3 are pretty good actually in preseason with Rivera, Tomlin, and Belichick. They all have winning records in the preseason. So they're coaches that actually do take it a little serious. You have coaches
I think it's because they've had better teams than most of the people. I mean,
well, you know what? But New England was 3-1 in preseason last year, and they weren't very good last year. So,
Well, I think that Cam Newton kind of came out of the box a little hot, and then teams adjusted to the fact that he can't throw no more. and made him throw the ball and said, if you want to run, you can run. So we do have a pretty light schedule in baseball today. Let's take a look at the Major League Baseball. First up on the screen tonight, we got a couple games going right now. I wanted to run line the Mets, but unfortunately, show started a little too late. I was going to tweet it out, but then by the time I got to it, it looked like they had the first pitch already, a little bit too late for that. So we're going to start in Atlanta with Cincinnati and the Atlanta Braves. Atlanta with a big comeback last night. I think they were down to the last strike. 3-run home run against that wonderful Cincinnati bullpen.
I thought it was the other way. I thought Votto hit a home run to tie the game against the Braves.
I think Atlanta won late.
Yeah, Atlanta won, but since he was down 2-6,
I think Atlanta they were behind and hit a home run at the end of the game to take the game. If I read it correctly, maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe they did it in the extras, but
it was in the 11th inning. Yeah,
yeah. Since he was down 2, and Votto hit a home run to tie the game, so both bullpens were blowing it last night. These two teams are just too unpredictable for me. I probably lean the Braves, but I'm not paying -155 to take them.
Well, right now you can get -148, and you're looking at the money. Most of the tickets are on the Reds, but most of the money, about 2/3 of the money, is on Atlanta. And I agree with the money here. This game here, when I look at Atlanta has the pretty substantial home field advantage in terms of the power ranking, and they have the advantage in terms of the run differential. And it's one of the better pitching matchups of the night in terms of having the better pitcher. When you look at the Vladimir Gutierrez, he's kind of struggled a little bit lately versus Kyle Muller, two young arms. On the last 7 starts, Muller's given up 9 runs. Last 7 starts for Gutierrez, 19 runs. So he struggled a little bit, maybe a little tired arm early in his career. Cincinnati, as much as they are solid at scoring runs at home, they're not as good on the road. Only in the middle of the pack. I think they're number 1 at home, or number 2, somewhere in the top 3. And then Atlanta's number 4, surprisingly, at home at scoring runs. So I feel like -50s or 148 is a fair price to pay here. I'm getting the better pitcher. I'm getting the team with the better bullpen. I'm getting the team that scores more run at home. I'll take it all, and I think it adds up to another win for the Atlanta Braves, -158 for $28.
Okay.
Next game on the docket is the New York Yankees here in my hometown of Chicago. Speaking of which, I almost kicked myself yesterday, Sean. I was walking around and then looking at my phone in the first inning. And I said yesterday, man, I'm so tempted to take Milwaukee 6.5. They scored 7 in the first inning.
Yeah, is that unbelievable or what? And the fact that Jake Arrieta, he came out for the second inning. I can't believe they went that long with him.
Well, he was released today.
Okay. Yeah. And your over-under, too, was, 9.5, 10? That Milwaukee did it themselves, so.
Yeah, I thought the Cubs would at least get 1 run because it was kind of humid. It definitely windy. It's not as humid today, but still a little bit on the warm side. So I expect the balls to leave the park. It's U.S. Cellular tonight, too. You like anything in this spot?
This is actually they're in Iowa today. This is the.
That's that field game?
Yeah. Yep.
Uh-huh.
I like the White Sox. I just don't know about the only way you're going to get value is giving up a 1.5, and I just can't pull the trigger on that against the Yankees that've been playing pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to take I'm going to take the White Sox, and I'm going to lay that 1.5. And with the 1.5 for the White Sox, you can get. Hold on 1 second. Let me page down here. Come on, page. Come on. I'm getting plus 110. That's what I got in my DraftKings account too. So when you look at the game, this is I think the biggest starting pitching mismatch of what's left on the board. You have, according to the metrics, the Lance Lynn is this year, always been that way, but this year has been one of the top 40 pitchers according to advanced metrics. Whereas when you look at Haney, he's down in the like the low 300s, 315, 320. So you got a big mix up there, and the White Sox just chew up left-handed pitching. So I expect the White Sox to chew up more left-handed pitching. When you look at Haney, he's got a 4.41 ERA lifetime versus the White Sox. So I feel like the White Sox will score runs. They do chew up left-handed pitching. I got a huge pitching advantage in terms of the starting pitching. And then the bullpens are about a draw. So I feel like the White Sox can put 1.5 than the Yankees on the scoreboard. So we're going to take the White Sox and lay 1.5.
And then since coming to the Yankees too, Haney's given up 5 home runs in the 10 innings he's pitched with an ERA over 7. So he has not pitched very well since coming over neither. So
that's where I'm going to go. Right now, it looks to me, just on the regular betting side, the 2/3 of the tickets are on the White Sox, and almost 75 cents is on the White Sox. So White Sox are clearly the play for the smart money. That's why I'm on them. Yeah. And then, those are my 2 official plays for the night. $28. I've kind of tipped my hand for the limited schedule that's left, but I think you kind of get a sense of why I'm like that, because the next game on the board is Toronto versus LA Angels. You got Ohtani on the mound, pitches really well in Los Angeles. Barrios is pitching better. I mean, if I were going to go aside here, I would probably ever so slightly lean towards LA.
Really, I don't know. I can't take Toronto minus 135, but Toronto's offense is unbelievable, and the Angels really don't have that great of an offense. And sometimes Ohtani in the first inning gives up some runs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, I would take Toronto. Because of Ohtani pitching, I'm going to stay away from it. Right. But I definitely wouldn't trust the Angels here.
I don't trust him. I'm not putting any play on him, but I feel like that, with Ohtani pitching, he pitches much better in Los Angeles than he does outside of Los Angeles. So I feel like he'll keep them in the game. And I do agree with you. I mean, Toronto has one of the best offenses in all of baseball, unquestionably. They're the better team. They should probably win. The fans think they're going to win because 2/3 of the tickets are on them, but a little bit less than that money-wise is on Toronto. About 60 cents is on Toronto. So I would guess that I would rather – it's just a home team with a plus line that's left tonight. I certainly would lean towards the LA Angels. Everybody else, San Diego in the next game against Arizona, it's not as big a pitching mismatch as it looks like on paper. Widener's pitched almost as well as Yu Darvish of late. So, but I just can't trust a team like Arizona to win. They just don't. Yeah,
but you can't back San Diego neither because, like you said, with Darvish. So you have a lot of pitchers that might have an ERA over 5 that had an ERA of 8 early in the year. Darvish was pitching great earlier this year, so his numbers still look good, but he's been getting hammered lately. So this line's too inflated for San Diego, but I can't jump the gun with Arizona neither.
What's funny is almost 100% of the money is on the Padres tonight. So
wow.
Vegas pulling hard for the desert, for the team in the desert. Last game on the schedule is Colorado and San Francisco. This was a game I was considering taking the run line in because you're getting a pretty solid run line. Marquez does have an extended ERA against the San Francisco, even though, they've been okay. This is the first year in a while they've been really pretty strong. And he's got a 6.68 ERA, 4.86 at what's Oracle Park now. Whereas Webb, he's struggled against Colorado, but the majority of his struggles have come at Coors Field, where a lot of pitchers struggle. Hasn't really struggled against them as much in San Francisco. He still has given up 2 and 3 runs in the two times he's faced him in San Francisco. So I feel like there'll be more runs scored in this game than I'm comfortable with if I'm on one side or the other. And the pitching matchup is essentially a draw. So it's basically San Francisco's bullpen, I think, versus Colorado's bullpen. And in that matchup, San Francisco gets the edge.
Yeah, I just don't feel comfortable giving up a 1.5. If anything, I'm with you. I would go the over at over 7.5. I'm not going to make it official. I'm going to pass on the baseball slate today, but the one play tonight I might go would be the over 7.5.
One over 7.5. I thought you said you were going to take a game in here tonight.
Yeah, I said I might take one, but I'm passing on it.
Oh, so you're going to go all preseason football?
Yeah. Hey, like I said, I was ready for football, and here it is. So, I'm usually pretty high on Marquez too, but he's starting to struggle a little bit. And in San Francisco's been hitting well, but they've been giving up some runs too. So,
well, he's definitely had a tough time, Marquez, against the San Francisco offense. I still think that San Francisco, I mean, they're playing pretty well right now. And Colorado has they're tied for the second least amount of wins on the road. And they haven't really handled themselves all that well against plus 500 teams, whereas San Francisco has demolished teams under 500. I think they're 41-17, something like that. And that might be the best or second best record against weaker teams. So I expect San Francisco to win this game. I mean, that's what the line says. That's what the money says. That's what the records say. I just don't know if they're going to win by 2 runs. That's the only reason why I'm not jumping on the run line.
Yeah, and I'm going to pass it. I could do the whole PayPal thing like you said. If you guys want me to make that an over official play, then go hammer the under.
Yeah, you can do that, right?
Yeah.
Fade him, Sean.
Yeah.
Well, there's value in being right and value in being wrong, as I've said before. When I'm going well, follow me, and when I'm struggling, fade me, because you can take information and you can utilize it.
The best part about your Yankees bet is that I really like it, but I didn't follow you. So,
well, I would have made it with or without you. So
yeah, I know.
Maybe I would pull you along for a W.
Okay.
So anyway, Sean, that's wraps up the schedule for today. We mentioned some golfers yesterday. Russell Henley is actually winning the tournament. Might be the second week in a row. Then in the pre-tournament picks, a couple of the other guys one other guy I think is in the top 20, top 40 right now. The other ones are kind of borderline. They're going to have a good Friday for them to have some opportunity to get into the top 40 on the weekend. But as it stands right now, if the players stay where they are, I think we'd be like plus or minus $60 or something. So really not that good, not that bad. Anytime you lose, it's bad. Tonight at 9:30 for our sponsor, Horse Racing Radar, we will have just me, you, and Terry and Tom, right?
Most likely, yeah. I'm still working on possible, but it's not looking good. So it's probably just us.
Just the 4 of us. Well, that's fine, because we'll make our picks for Arlington Park on Saturday here in the Chicagoland area. It's the last real big weekend of racing at Arlington Park before it becomes the home of the Chicago Bears. So make sure you head on over to Horse Racing Radar. Take a look at that. You can follow us on Twitter, on Facebook at Racing Radar. You can also subscribe here at YouTube by pressing the subscribe button and the bell. Also follow us on Twitter or Facebook at Moneyline Madmen. Sean, anything else you'd like to add before we wrap up a pretty quick day?
Yeah, it's a pretty quick. No, we'll just look at the weekend schedule and start looking at good bets for the weekend.
Yeah, we'll have some tomorrow. Of course, we'll be back with Major League Baseball. There's a full slate of MLS soccer starting, I think, on Saturday. There's at least one game. I'll start working now that the English Premier League is putting together its new season. I'll start putting together my Magic Excel sheet for that and see if indeed we can have some early action before we get in the game. So we'll talk about English Premier game. It's the day before they play. So maybe we can find a few nice picks out there. Soccer's pretty interesting in that you can get good home teams with plus lines, which is a pretty interesting thing in soccer that you're not going to really catch in most other sports.
And that's because of that. That's because of that stupid soccer tie.
Dumb ass soccer tie. For sure. I hate them. All right, my man. That wraps up today. Make sure you head on over to Horse Racing Radar. Check out our podcast tonight for the last big weekend of racing in Arlington Park. We'll be back tomorrow, 23 hours and 30 minutes, the much bigger slate of games. Until then, may all your tickets be winners.